The offseason begins. We have USFL players heading to the NFL. We have players re-signing for season 3. All that and more on the next episode of the USFL podcast.
1, 2, 3.
Welcome back, everybody, to another amazing edition of the USFL podcast. I'm the ref representing USFL Newsroom, the leaders in USFL news. And I mean, it's a good week, it's a great week, and sooner or later, it's gonna be the best week ever. But right now, we got a lot to talk about. But before we do that, I couldn't take another word out of my mouth without introducing my man, Zach Kylman. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great because the off season's kicking off a lot faster than I remember last year in several different ways. I'm just alone, and we'll touch on this more. The re-signings already seem very rapid fire in the first week and a half of the year. Well, week and a half plus, but you get my drift.
Oh yeah.
So many high profile guys too. It's not just like here or there kind of guys. We're talking like some all USFL guys, some award winners, some top performers already re-signing, and we're not even out of July. We're not even mid-July.
Dude, it's insane.
We're barely in mid-July, and we got people signing on contracts for next spring. Whoa.
You know what they say?
Didn't see that one coming right now.
The answer is always yes. I mean, we talked about it. The USFL earlier this year became the first spring football league in nearly 40 years to make it to a season 2. And now they're on their way to being the first spring football league in nearly 40 years to make it to a season 3. And these guys, you know what they say? They're hot to trot. They're ready to go. And they want to get in where the fixing's good. And that's why we're seeing this happen. Before we get into the news, got a couple little things to go over. Social media, what the hell are you doing? At USFL Podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and even Threads, baby. Get signed up. Go and follow us. See what's happening. Like I said, Twitter, we're pretty active. Threads, we're pretty active. So get in where you fit in. YouTube, if you're watching the video version, I need you to pause. Look down below, hit the subscribe button, click the bell. It builds morale. Now you can unpause because you are going to know every time we're going live, every time a new video drops. And then, you know what? If you're subscribed and you're notified with that bell, you also have a chance to win our jersey in the 5K giveaway. Custom USFL jersey, fresh from the official USFL shop. We're over 3K, less than 2,000 to go. You better get in while the getting's hot. You know, I talked about it last week. I'll talk about it again. Audio listeners, I know you exist. You can pause now. Well, not before you listen to this. You need to go and review the podcast. Say the good things. Say the bad things. Put them all in the middle. We want to hear them. Get signed up. And when you're all done, I know you're looking for some fresh USFL merch. Well, I got the scoop for you. Head over to breakingt.com/USFL Newsroom or simply use code USFL Newsroom for 10% off all the freshest digs. They got a back-to-back Stallion shirt, my man. They got a Darius Victor shirt. We're going to be talking about him a little bit later. MBT, he might be on the way, but they got a shirt in your size. Head it over there and you could save 10 big old percent by using coupon code USFL Newsroom. Man, I'm getting good at that, Zach.
Pick up your MBT shirt, give a salute, and say thanks for the memories, my guy. Because that's what I think all of us have been doing. We're doing like a full circle thing around here. Thanks for your service, good sir. You did well.
Right on.
One season. See where you go, my man.
I know. Well, it'll be interesting to see. We're going to talk about that one a little bit later. I think we start with the blockbuster news. You know what? The ref was a little bit off. And it was, we recorded a little bit early last week. We recorded on Wednesday. Of course, Thursday is when I at least officially found out where Brandon Aubrey was going. It ended up being kind of a pull between the Commanders and the Cowboys. The Cowboys won So the ref was wrong last week, but we got that pick in. But you know which one, Zach, that I'm excited about. You know what they say.
I know which one you're excited for. You're all in on.
All in gamblers win. Josh Peterson to the Jacksonville Jaguars. And make no mistake, if you're sitting there saying, well, hey, doesn't the head coach of the Jaguars have the same last name? Well, he sure does. That's Doug Peterson. That's his father, which we saw, Zach, at a grudge game. I don't remember who won that game. I don't want to remember that.
Sure you do. That's okay. He was a few rows up watching his son's team take the L, but his son was getting some W's on the field in terms of some great catches and some good route running and tight end performance. Very much an overall well done season by his kid. And I took it almost like a Hercules moment. If you remember the movie where it's like, "Go, my son, prove your worth and come back a hero." And
you know, my favorite thing,
in Olympus.
You know, no curtains on this show. I won't say who we were talking to, but we may have been. One of my life achievements that I have like in the little box is Doug Peterson yelling at us. Do you remember that? Sit down. Will you sit down already? And both of us were like, yeah, you might want to sit down, guy. It wasn't us standing up, just for anybody listening.
No, we were talking with a few buddies of ours, and sure enough, there's Doug, you know, and I get it because he's trying to watch his kid play. So like we get down, he gave me the thumbs up after the fact.
Well, he
say that.
He knew it wasn't us standing up, but I remember both of us were like, the game's on. We're both kind of looking at each other like, hey, you know, and we both kept being like, oh, no, just take a seat. And he's like, oh, no, I'm just about to leave. I'm like, no, take it. Someone's going to get mad. They got mad, which, I mean, again, it's those little things in life, Zach. I don't remember who won that game, who lost that game, but I'll remember that moment forever, if that makes sense.
Oh, you'll remember that moment.
Yeah.
I'll remember the great win that I had that day, and the barbecue, and then I'll also remember the curse that brought on post delicious Memphis barbecue ribs.
Yeah.
Which is really making me, I'm telling you, it's making me contemplate if I want to even do that again. Because
if
that's the reward,
you have to,
is being cursed for an entire season. I don't know if I could do that 2 years in a row.
Well, who's to say who's going to get the curse this time? Because I'll tell you what, Zach, the gamblers ain't losing again. We're not going 12. We're not going 24. 36, maybe 48. That's the goal. 48-0. 4 years undefeated. 4 championships. Back to back to back to back. Sign us up all in. I can't speak for that 5th season quite yet, but I got a good feeling about it too. I'll just say that much.
Well, I think, honestly, I probably will do the bet. It's just me thinking about what is ahead because it's too damn fun.
Oh, yeah.
It's too damn fun. Simple fact of the matter is. And I mean, again, like I think Josh Peterson, it's a random skew, but like that's a memory now is like, you know, Peterson family, that game being tied to that moment in time. But no, look, I don't care what people say about like, hey, you know, it's going to the father's team and all that. I haven't seen many people say that issue, but like, he's going to go and get a shot to play. That's the big deal. Mm-hmm. Someone that definitely is deserving that shot. And, you know, like I said, I think his dad saw his improvements and went, yeah, we could use a tight end on that roster anyway to compete. So not a bad pickup. I got to be frank. It's someone that should be familiar with how he needs to be coached to perform at his best. So he's going to get a fair shake. I don't think you're going to see his dad give him too many ins because he could have been signed on by now.
Oh, sure.
You know, he could have done it last year. Didn't do it. So you got to keep that in mind. Final guy we got, and everyone's been very happy. You know, 2 Stallions gone. Deion Kane's going to be going up next. It's funny, the delay on his signing choice has been slow right now.
I have a theory. So after learning what I learned about Brandon Aubrey's situation, because remember, when we rewind to last week, I said I had heard it was possibly the Commanders, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it turns out there was 2 teams vying for him. He had options. He got to choose which contract to pick. And I almost wonder if Deion Kane is in a similar situation where maybe he gets 1 year big money or 3 years, and you know there's some options here. And depending on the team, because hey, if you're a player, you know these teams. You might be able to sit back and say, well, which one do you think I'm going to get utilized the most on? Right.
Fair.
And so I don't know if that's the situation, But I almost wonder, and that's just based off of, like I said, the Aubrey situation. Once we found out, it's a shame that we recorded Wednesday, but I mean, how amazing is that for the USFL and the players, right? You essentially get to choose your path, where to go. Not every team, clearly, but having those options in front of you. Another thing to note here, again, you mentioned, we don't know where Deion Kane is heading yet, but in the case of Brandon Aubrey and Josh Peterson, both of them are heading to not just NFL teams, Zachy boy, playoff teams from last season. I know I had to double check because I was like, Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. They kind of snuck it in. But, I mean, Trevor Lawrence, he is kind of a badass. I mean, they could be a dangerous team here. So we could see these guys very much like Turpin with the Cowboys. The Cowboys, again, hot to trot, becoming the first to pick USFL players 2 years in a row. Something about that water in Jerryland, Zach. I don't know. They like what they see.
Jerry Jones likes his special teams USFL guys. Yeah, at 3 year $2 million plus on his plate. That's a good one. That's a great one for him. And any Cowboys accounts I've followed, they feel like he's the instant front runner to land that job outright. He's just got to prove his worth in training camp. And I think that there shouldn't be a problem, man. You've kicked pro, you've kicked in front of some high some tense crowds in the past. Do your thing. You're going to do just fine. And you got another USFL guy in Cavante you can kind of lean on for saying, hey, let's do this journey together. Kind of like that. I say that almost like that brother sister kind of like bonding type of thing. Is how I do. But yeah,
let me ask you this, because I ponder this, I wonder this, I scratch my head late at night at this. When we look at the Cowboys, again, they were the ones to pick up Cavante Turpin last year with the first player to go from the USFL to the NFL. Fast forward to season 2, we see the same thing with Brandon Aubrey now going to the Cowboys. We did have a little guest at summer stock, Daryl Johnston, Cowboys legend. Maybe you think maybe there's something to that. I don't know. We have not asked about this, but I'm curious. I mean, you have to assume. I mean, and I just look at, I'm a Lions fan. They'll do anything to get Barry Sanders just to sit in the seats, right? Now, Daryl Johnston's a little bit different, and the Cowboys organization's a lot different. I mean, we talked about Jerry World. It's a whole thing in itself, which, Zach, one of these days, I got to get you out there. It's the craziest thing you've seen. Just everything about it.
I've been told, and yeah, Barry Sanders way different because of the circumstances on why he even left in the first place, and it's been awkward for a few years that I'm aware of. But I don't know. Something about, like I said, something about Jerry Jones and picking up high quality USFL players. It's just like a match made in heaven.
Yeah, which people hate him, but when I see stories like this, I have no choice but to love him. And Jerry World it's an anomaly, Zach. They have, so it's not just AT&T Stadium, right? They got the Choctaw Field kind of over there, but then they also have, what do you want to call it? Like a gaming arena for esports. But on like Tuesdays, like random days, because they don't have like esports tournaments every day, you can go in there and just pay a couple bucks to play like games on this crazy screen. And they have a whole bunch of them.
For real.
So another reason, one day when we're in Jerry World, we're heading over there. And Texas Live. Texas Live is amazing, Zach. It's
some of the videos this past year from the other league, I will say, it looks like an incredible venue.
Oh, yeah. No, it's one of my...
Looks like an amazing venue for a party.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the screens are just... Well, they're screens on top of screens that turn into one screen. It's a screen party. People like their screens out in Dallas. Everything's bigger in Texas. Sign them up. Yeehaw! Hey, I know we're all over the place today, but have we talked about Rebels? What do I even say? Stubble Ref Summer. Those are the words I'm trying to say. Extra stubbly today. There ain't no stopping. I don't know. Everyone keeps saying, keep growing it out. Keep growing it out. Keep growing it out.
Rapidly, though. Like, it's not even like it's slow progress. It's already a fully developed mustache and a slightly goatee.
I wouldn't say fully developed. I give it maybe another week and we'll get there. I feel awkward. I don't like it. I don't I don't like it one bit. But I do everything for the bit, and I'm kind of curious to see where this goes from here. I did try to clean it up on the side because I looked like a homeless man for like a day. I was like, nah.
It's all about the cleanup.
Yeah.
To make it even. You got to keep it even. If that's the secret to getting facial hair, at least if you can get it somewhat even and filled out in some parts, and you own it, you're gonna do fine.
So let me ask you, you're a beard connoisseur over there. Like, is there some, like, I hear about beard oils and all this weird stuff. I'm kind of like, I don't even take like Tylenol or aspirin. I, at minimum, use like no scent shampoo and deodorant. I am a weirdo. But I don't want this to be all scraggly and weird. What is the solution?
I mean, I would say your best solution is, you comb it like hair, kind of like, I guess, how do I put it? It's not treat it, but like you kind of, I guess, manipulate it.
I see.
Where you're consistently getting in a direction, make it kind of flow.
I see.
Don't go against the grain. I think oils are a good way to start.
Do they work though?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I think that it just got it. To me, the way you do oils is you should get like look up and search a good beard oil. I wouldn't say go too crazy on the price if you don't have to, but like, I think the other thing that helps is get a good comb with it, because a good beard oil should fill out your beard as well as make it more naturally, like kind of flowing down.
Is there a beard comb, or do I just get like a head comb?
There are beard combs. Yeah, right. They're these like wooden, I don't remember what wood it uses, but that's a real thing.
I see.
I used to own one.
Oh, okay.
I don't own one anymore because what I've been doing is I honestly, I'll get it, I'll clean it up, and then I'll blow dry it, and then I've gotten it where I've got the flow down.
I see. I gotcha. Well,
and then besides that, trim under your neck, make it look nice.
I did that.
Don't let it grow out too long.
It was looking crazy. So I trust me. There is no way I was jumping on this and being called a neckbeard.
No, I've been more and more since I moved out here, like that, and post championship, the self-care is like the name of the game right now for me. Right. So like I've been doing that. I've been I never did this before. I'm doing those Crest 3D white strips.
Oh yeah, how's that working out for you? Those scare the crap out of me.
Not too shabby.
Yeah, they scare me. I don't know what's in them. I'm a weirdo.
My thing is I'm going through one box.
Right.
If you don't, I always write if you don't abuse it.
Oh, well, that's
like you can't just like every day white strip your teeth. Go with the like recommended type of stuff. Totally off base, but like this is off season show.
Yeah, off season.
These always go off base if you've been on here. But simple fact is you should stubble ref summer. Keep at it, man. It's gonna look good, and then we can add on to the bet later next year for
who has to shave their beard off.
I'm not opposed to adding that on.
We'll see.
Because I have done non-beard, but it freaks out my coworkers because I am the beard guy, one of the beard guys at my job.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I don't think there's any way in hell. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think there's any way in hell that I still have this going on by the beginning of next season. But you know what? I'm going to see where this goes. The summer, it's hot and humid. We'll see. We'll see. And if I look too crazy, I don't want to look, that's the problem. Half of me wants to look crazy. Half of me wants to just go full on, not even who cares about a beard comb or an oil? Just let it go full homeless man style.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
But I just know that I don't want the security following me around at the grocery store, because that's what they'll do. They already kind of have to. They're like, what are you doing here? I'm like, get out of here. Shoo, I got a Tesla, don't you know? They probably think I'm stealing it. Anyway.
Now. Look, you focus on redoing and getting that corrected. We'll then refocus on those that are coming back as well. You're taking a second chance at the facial hair. They're taking a third chance at the USFL with these re-signings that we're going to discuss. I had to segue.
No, sign you up.
Get the show moving. Season 3 re-signings becoming a lot more common in a week and a half plus 2 weeks once the show drops. It's week and a half-ish as we're recording. You get my drift. But we already are pushing towards the double digits. We got 9 recorded just of this right now round. Actually, we have 10 because of DeMaurice Pearsonell. He signed on before the season ended. So the Generals really been hitting the ground running, getting re-signings or getting guys they like. But we have 9 of them since we last talked that have signed on the dotted line and said, I want to come back right now. Several that are high-profile names or all USFL guys that you will recognize. So let's go down the list here. I'll go team by team, actually, just to kind of compartmentalize this thing. Only 2 teams so far, even with Pearsonell, have actually made re-signings. That is the Generals and the Stallions. It's Generals have signed on the most so far. Following of these are as follows. Besides Pearsonell, you've got all USFL you have all USFL talent and 2022 Offensive Player of the Year Darius Victor. He's back really early into the process, is back into the swing of things, so good for him. Calvin Ashley, 2023 All USFL guard. He's returned. You also have Isaiah Battle, who's another one of those talented linemen for the Generals. One of the best lines in the league, by the way. So you got 2 veterans back for them on that line coming back as well. Kingston Davis, who was seeing a lot more snaps in the second half of the year. He's being re-signed. I'd like to talk a little bit more on the repercussions of that signing as we go on. Wes Sexton Jr., tight end for the Generals. He's back as well. And then we have Javon Askew Henry, who's been one of the more upper echelon safeties in the USFL and one of the top performers on that Generals defense for the last 2 seasons. He returns to the Generals. The Stallions get CJ Marable back, one of the top running backs in the league this past season. For year 3, he'll be returning to see if he can do a three-peat. And then we also have all USFL long snapper Ryan Langan returning as well. Going to be a different kicker most likely for him. Because I don't see, obviously, Aubrey, we think is not going to be back here, but he's at least going to be locking things down and getting consistent snaps. 9 good quality guys. And that, I think the big story, it just feels like, and we've talked about this a little bit outside of the show with like James and company, it just feels like signings have come a lot more quickly this year with these veterans than we last remembered. And I think, and you can highlight this, it feels like, we had a bunch of talk about the 2-year contracts last year and how we had maybe some folks went and opted out or there was a change in things that they opted out. And some of these guys did a lot of them picked up that second year. You know, Davis is one that got signed on this year. So that's kind of the main outlier on here. But a lot of these guys are 2-year starters that now are re-signing a deal. Feels like they're the ones that picked up their second-year option and now are exercising their new contract for the first time.
Right. And we're seeing some big names right out of the gate, too. Darius Victor, CJ Marable, just to name a couple right there. I mean, these are names. Well, one, we saw what CJ Marable really, he had a name for himself, but he really picked up the ball and ran with it. I mean, literally this year. And champion, sign him up. Darius Victor. I mean, these are recognizable names. He's got the shirt. Again, Breaking T, coupon code USFL Newsroom for 10% off. The Generals, though, I think we kind of mentioned this already, but if we didn't, last year they were the ones right out of the gate making all the signings. This year, right out of the gate, just stacking them up. Re-signings, come on back. Let's build that team. Let's fix the issues that we had this season because, I mean, they're so close because last season they were 9-1. This year they had some troubles. Just a couple little tweaks, and you have another playoff ready team, right? This is spring football, baby, especially in the North.
They're aggressive,
right?
They've been very aggressive. And I'm hoping, for example, aggressive but controlled. Don't want to get in trouble.
Right. Yeah,
Let's not lose out on our draft pick at the top of the order. And especially now that you are guaranteed the number 1 pick this year, you don't have to fight over it for an extra game. Like, be cautious on your signings. I think the veteran guys, you're like this so far, so good. They've been signing the guys they had last year, so we're chill on that. Just be careful if you go into like the free agent market where it's your choices on the that haven't been present or maybe from a different team. However that works, just caution. Right. Don't want to burn yourself again.
Right.
But lock down those key components. I love that they brought back 2 of their offensive linemen. Like though, I tell you one thing they have going is that they have picked up two straight seasons. Mike Riley knows how to pick up O linemen to solidify that front five. He does a really good job of getting talent there. If he could just help make a competitive offense that doesn't feel like, I think, less explosive or wants to jerk people around with the personnel choices, then we're all solid. Because Kingston Davis raises my eyebrows, given the fact that Trey Williams has been publicly mentioning his, I would say, choices of words on a certain few people on that staff. He getting re-signed, I think, is definitely telling that he gets put back on right away, and we are not hearing from Trey.
Yep. Which is unfortunate because in season 1, he was definitely a big part of that team, but you know what? I think you're right. I think that's telling here. Now, will we see him show up on another team? That could be interesting too.
Now, I would like that because he has a lot to give, and I felt that he was not used properly whatsoever. And we saw it too when they played Philadelphia. They looked exactly like that squad. Part of it was because Williams was in as the second back.
Right.
And then as soon as the next week comes up is when you see him go public on Twitter talking about some of the mismanagement of his own roster spot.
Right.
Again, don't know all the details on that. It's his word versus a non-other word. So I'm just going to leave it there. But clearly it was something was going on where he wasn't getting reps.
Right.
Which is crazy to me. So I hope he lands somewhere else, gets those reps, because he's a very shifty back. He could easily improve a backfield in most of these rosters. Honestly, I'd love to see him in Memphis.
Yeah.
I think he'd be great for Memphis.
Well, depending on if Mark Thompson comes back or not, I'd love to see him in Houston as well, because we've even seen Mark Thompson kind of toying with the idea on Twitter, seeing, hey, maybe I could get a little bit of a raise out of this. You know what I say, all in, pay the man. But we'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. I think it's going to be an interesting offseason just because we have some of the guys that are already locked in for season 3. Some of the guys are coming off like a full 2-year contract, depending on when they came in. But like I said, this is very promising, seeing the number of guys already. We're barely 2 weeks out from the championship, not even really the day that this releases. Yeah. And we're seeing some notable names, good players, good, solid position people for all of these teams and these coaches. So, you know what? I'll be keeping my eye on this, and we'll be reporting all of these, both on USFL Newsroom. Check us out on social over at USFL Newsroom as well, just so everybody knows. That's where, if you want to know where all the transactions are happening, we're all over that stuff this year. Bigger, better.
This year, it's that was as I say, you've talked about the epic speech at the championship when we had all our guys here. That was one thing we reiterated there is free agent signing catch-ups and keeping track of those. If you want to see how we're doing so far every signing we get out same day. So yeah, stay tuned to USFL Newsroom. You'll get any of those signings, any of those NFL to USFL and NFL transactions, any of the new signings besides re-signings. Stick to us at USFL Newsroom for that as well. So you talk Mark Thompson. I'll go with both our teams haven't had an official re-signing yet. Just to put that out there. I have signings. We'll talk in a second. We both have signings.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of ironic how that worked out. We don't have any re-signings. Pick one player. You already said Mark Thompson, but I feel like that one's kind of out there. So who else do you want re-signed if you had the option to do so early?
Oh, God, you're putting me on the spot because there's so many of them. Justin Hall, probably. I'd love to see him back on the team. Peterson would have been one, but he's gone. Mark Thompson, though, I want him to stay all in. I want him to be able to lead us to that playoff game, right? Think of this. We were missing him week 1. If we would have, I don't even want to say it. If we were have to beat your Panthers week 1, we would have been in the playoffs possibly, right? And so Mark Thompson could have been the difference in that game. That game was a close game. At least for a majority of it. You guys kind of ran away with it at the end.
For about 2.5 quarters, it was relatively close.
Right? So, to me, that's kind of, he was an MVP status. But, yeah, if I had to pick someone else, Justin Hall, 100%. Who are you thinking on the Panthers?
Obviously for me, just last season. I think I do one of the voices of the Panthers, honestly. This is a selfish one because Frank Ginda I would love to have back. I think if I'm being more realistic, just because of the competitiveness of the running back market, bring me back Reggie Corbin. That's another voice of this team, and I think a recognizable star. One that I felt also wasn't used as properly, given that the offense was, to me, very sporadic and not managed well. I would love him back. My consolation prize would be E.J. Perry, but I think he actually goes to a team because of the fact that well-performed and was recently on a roster before he came in late season.
Right.
But Reggie seems like a realistic one if he wants to be back and get another crack at it, much like Darius Victor. He gets a contract signed early, and then we get to have him in an off-season program. So that'll be fascinating. But, all depends. I mean, Panthers, I don't think they're changing out like Eric Marty or anything.
Sure.
Who's to say? I mean, you never know. You never know.
There was a little bit of a coaching carousel and going from season 1 to season 2. So we could see a little bit of that going into season 3. But hey, if you guys want to know, make sure you're tuned into USFL Newsroom or this podcast. I don't know. Did I say it? I think I said it, but I'll say it again. We might not do an episode next week, but we'll probably do an episode the 28th just to kind of catch up. Plus, we need a little bit of a breather. Well, you're still covering arena football, so Zach needs a little bit of a breather here, guys.
I got that till mid-August. Yeah. I'm not out yet, but I'll definitely slow things down once that next month comes around. We'll be. I mean, we gotta chill out because I'd like to see how these signings pan out, and obviously, with the NFL training camps coming up at the end of the month, that whole sway, and you have signings that I think they'll be last minute. There's still some that haven't even come down the pipeline that have been rumors. I mean, Alex Magoo, for crying out loud, has had some tryouts. Right. We don't even know how those went. We got to hear about that. Reuben Foster's been rumored, and there's been rumblings of people saying there's a few other players that are getting looks. Just got to wait and see. Injury bug is a thing. I hate bringing it up like that, but that is a thing in training camp. You see guys leverage that every year, and, don't wish for it, but that is a thing that does happen.
Right.
So, you just got to keep that in mind. But we'll see more of these signings coming up here soon enough. It's just, going to play out. I think some of them, too, will be re-signings depending on how they feel their camp status is. So I think a few of them are probably going to wait out their options and kind of weigh them as they go. Or they can just do it now. I think that's what maybe the league will do, because realistically, you could just re-sign and then say, hey, I have enough opportunity. There is an out for that.
Sure, yeah.
And then you could still come back later
100%.
if you get cut. So I actually think you might see more re-signings pop up more so than signings coming up, just because the fact that you want to get that secondary option locked down if you can. If you feel like you are going to be on the outside looking in, I do.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's just kind of a little bit of a safety blanket, too. You know what I mean? But we do have, so we talked about guys going from the USFL to the NFL. We talked about guys re-signing for season 3. We also got some free agent signings. A couple notable ones here, too. The first one I want to bring up is actually from your team, Panthers. Let's hunt, sign them up. But this one's, it's kind of, I like to see this because we're seeing yet again another draft pick from this draft, from the collegiate draft that they had prior to season 2, jump on board for the USFL for season 3. And this is kind of what we talked about during that draft coverage is, look, this draft is taking place. Training camp's like right around the corner. Don't expect a lot of these guys, if any, to play in season 2. Now, season 3, that's where I could see some jumping on board. Season 4 and even 5, because they retain the rights, I think we'll see them continually have a spot in the USFL. But right now, here we are, Panthers, their 7th round pick, tight end, Gunnar Oaks. And now, you know what's cool about this too? EMU, product of EMU. You know where they practice, Zachy boy.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
And it's a nice tie-in. Just like Terry Myrick when he was there too. Getting to kind of go back to his alma mater and play. He knows where the factory's at.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the field for those who don't realize where I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They call it the factory, the Great Turf Field over there, Eastern Michigan. And I want a Gunner I really wanted Gunnar to sign on midway through the year because I think, I thought I liked the kid's talent. Good choice to kind of, but though, if I'm being frank, good choice to weigh your options, look around the leagues that you have to go to, and making his choice now, not bad. He has that option, and I think the USFL was setting it up that way. Getting these guys, it's all about the rights. If you want to come in, say things aren't working out from your experience post draft, say you're an UDFA designation and you're doing these mini camps. He did have one with the Atlanta Falcons this past spring. You can then weigh your options. Say, hey, if I'm not getting any bites from the bit, my agent's not, giving me any calls, or my calls haven't been going to my agent from teams. Well, hey, what's in my back pocket is my little, I think, in case of emergency break glass, which is your designation for rights to a USFL team. Given that you are in a re-signing period right now, the earlier you say, hey, you call up the GM that was hitting you up during that draft and go, hey, you know what? I got interest.
Yeah.
That GM then can go, cool, young talent, bringing you in. And that's exactly what's happened right there. You see Steve Kaiser, bringing him on in, getting him signed. That's what this process was about all along. The rights are there. If you want to exercise that right, you give them a call, and if they have a spot for you, congrats, you're signed on, because you're pretty young. You're a young guy that just got out of the college scene, and you're the type of player they're looking for, someone that we can develop or we can raise their stock.
Yep. Now, I have to say this too, is shout out to, I think I'm going to get it right here, Panthers Shadow. Am I right?
You did it.
Okay, good.
You did it. Oh my God.
I think I've just gotten it wrong so many times that
it took going through summer stock to mess up again to finally do it post summer stock. I am so proud of you.
I'm proud of me too.
This is a big moment in the show's history.
I was worried because
until he changes the name again, and then
I know. Yeah, don't do that, Jake, man.
No,
but shout out to him. He's the one that dropped this pick.
He confirmed at summer stock he's not doing it again. But no, congrats. You made me, and you're making our man Jake, who is one of our guys on the site, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I mean, and he hooks us up with graphics. He just made us a new template too for like Instagram and all this stuff. So sign him up. That's, you know what? I finally got it. Now we'll see. I have a feeling I'm going to second guess this in the future and get it wrong. But I finally got it right. All right. But
it's a win for now. Until you do it again, until you do it right again.
Now
it's a win right now.
It's a win for now. You know what else is a win? A gambler's win. All in. Gabe Burkich. Man, I think I got it. He's another free agent signing coming onto the USFL. Well, we saw, you and I saw it firsthand week one. There was a little bit of back and forth between the special teams coach and Nick Vogel, and I'll be honest, there was a couple kicks that probably should have went in. So it's no surprise that the gamblers are looking at options, and it looks like Gabe Burkich is the next one up. Now, Oklahoma University, saw a great clip. That's the only reason I have any clue how to say his name, by the way. I'm not going to front. I would have gotten this wrong all day and night. 56-yarder. I'm super excited about that. I have no problem with OU. But you know where else he spent some time with, Zach?
Minnesota.
The Packers. FTP.
He was in the North, because he has a link. When you look up his name, that is the first name that comes up. The first place that comes up is the Vikings on Google.
Well, hopefully I'm wrong. Well, tell me in the chat, or tell me either in the chat or the comments. I could very be wrong. So if he's from the Vikings, half boo.
Well, no, he's been on two. That's the thing. He's already jumped around to both North teams.
Well, both the wrong North teams. What the heck are you doing over there? He's steering clear from our teams. Well, not anymore, sucker.
Staying the heck away. I got Cairo Santos, man. I don't need anyone else. You got
PJ Walker too now, don't you?
I do have PJ Walker.
Yeah,
I'm doing great. Yeah. I got spring football legend. I got a really damn good kicker from most ranges, unless it's very deep. He's not a good leg, but a accurate leg is more important. You've got a really good spring football league kicker on your roster in John Parker Roma as well.
Yep.
So Got him to look in forward to. And now you got a guy from Oklahoma that I think some people, if they go over straight to Oklahoma's website, he was in he was in the 2021 season. His senior year, played all 4 years at Oklahoma. He did punting duties, so he's a dual threat. So you have someone that can do a 2-for-1 position if you want. Keep that in mind. But in case you want to just worry about the field goal stats of PAT, he was almost automatic. I will say Frank Vogel, that was something I was surprised at, is PAT's very much a mixed bag for him this year, not just the field goals. Like, it was all over the place for the early part of the season, or for some parts of the season. Gabe's been 59 of 60 in his college career. The one thing I'll be curious to see is how much of an improvement would he be in the field goal department. Two kind of seasons in his junior and senior year, kicking about 77%, which is about what Nick was kicking at most points during the year. Ended with about 83 for college career. We'll find out, and it really depends. Do you bring Vogel in for competition? Is he done? Like, we're not 100% sure.
We got a whole off season. Season.
Signing a new kicker already, that could mean a few things out off the bat. But Frank was definitely one of the weaker kickers in the league overall, in a league that had a lot of strong legs.
Right. So, well, now we talked about all the additions. I think we should at least mention it, talk about it. A sad farewell to our man, McLeod Bethel-Thompson. It's a shame to see him go, but it's official now, right? There was some speculation, and we kind of teed it up in that final game, in that playoff game. The announcers started saying, hey, MBT, McLeod Bethel-Thompson, he's going to start weighing his options. They throwed in retirement in the mix because, he wants to spend time with his family, but clearly he wants another shot at the NFL. And you know what? There's a clause in that contract for him to explore avenues as far as returning to the CFL, which is actively in the season, mind you. So we'll have to see where that happens, what happens there. If I were to ask you, Zach, where do you think he lands? Retirement, CFL, NFL, on the spot, go.
I think he holds out for any NFL opportunity. Get a little harder with camp, so kind of, again, wait and see on the injury front, see if you can kind of get in. Something that was important, I think someone had brought up, one of the NFL Twitter accounts, was that he's kind of close on the NFL's pension front. Not to say that's a major excuse, but that is something that, in terms of financials and retirement, that is a great thing to have there. Otherwise, if you want playing time, you do have avenues where you could go into the CFL. I mean, there were talks that people thought he would go to the Red Blacks, given that they've had some QB woes again. Jeremiah Mazzoli, not exactly healthy at this point. Another setback he had in recent weeks. So kind of could be an option. Kind of depends on what he wants to do. I mean, he could just retire too. I mean, he's got a family, and he's got ways of just kind of, where you can go back home and be a family man and a father. But I think it's the NFL.
Yeah.
I really think that he's trying to go there. If he can get on a roster, I think he'll do one or two more seasons in the NFL and then call it if he can.
Right.
If he's allowed to have two seasons. If he gets one, that's perfect. He's active for games. He'd be able to, be an emergency quarterback. That's a new option this year for them. So a lot of those opportunities are available now. I think he tries that.
Right.
Even practice squad, he'd be making more money.
Oh, sure.
Just as a practice squad QB, he would probably be the emergency guy as well. So win. I think that's his angle.
Right.
If I were to guess an angle.
Yeah.
For him.
I think we'll see him get some type of opportunity in the I don't even know, the FFL, the NFL.
FFL.
I think we'll see him get a shot there. Like you said, even if it's on the practice squad, I'd take it. You know what I mean, Zach? I mean, that's a good pay over there. Like you said, with the emergency quarterback situation, we've seen crazier things happen in the NFL. I think I saw a game where they ran out of quarterbacks, if I remember correctly, not too long ago.
That was the NFC Championship.
Yeah.
They had to resort to pulling Brock Purdy back in because you even had shoot, man, I'm trying to think here, because you had Purdy come in, then you had Johnson come in for a little bit, and then after that, Purdy has to come back in because they don't have an option really.
Right.
Total mess.
It is a mess. So this solves that situation. That's what I hope to see. It is sad to see McLeod Bethel-Thompson on his way out, but you know what? The fact that he stopped here at all was pretty damn awesome. I mean, so sign him up. Good luck in your future. One of these things.
Memories made.
Yeah,
memories
exactly.
made.
And we got to interview him at Springstock. Like how cool is that?
That's forever gonna be like a top tier memory of mine doing this show. I'm not gonna let that one go. It's so much fun.
Right.
To know that he got to stop by. Really good interview too. That's the thing. Was sad when he had to cut the beard down. I think that one hurt when I saw he had to do that, but what can you do? Still a good beard even when trimmed down.
Oh, sure.
Man knows how to maintain it. I gotta re-ask him or go back to the interview and see what he said, because I asked him beard tips during the show.
That's a good point.
And he mentioned a few items. You can use it yourself.
I might go check that out.
You should, because I had to know.
You watch, Zach. I'm going to get used to this, and I'm going to surpass your beard. Like one of these guys.
You can certainly attempt to do it.
It won't work, but I would love to try.
Mine doesn't grow out. So mine doesn't grow out. I've tried growing it out. It's a mess, is all I can tell you. You know what else is a mess? Me calling Nick Vogel Frank Vogel, because that implies that the Phoenix Suns head coach is kicking field goals. Yes. Just letting you know, like when we say review the show and leave comments, I look for this stuff because I do say things and then later on go, oh yeah, that was a mistake. And trust me, as soon as we started moving on, I'm like, his name's not Frank. Yeah. Why was my mind thinking Frank? Like this happens all the time.
That's what happens. It's all these different time zones you've been this year, Zach. It's all over the place.
My brain hurts.
And it's summertime. That's the thing. Your brain will get cooked a little bit out in that Arizona sun. Me, I'm getting sweltered up. So I've been going for like walks and runs, but I do it in like at the worst time to do it, because I feel like I'm gaining, like there's more accomplishment in running at like between noon and 4 when the sun is full blast. It feels like the temperature is 101, but it feels like 111. Sign me up. I'm telling you, that's what gives me my powers. You're just trying to lose
water weight. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm trying to melt my soul out of my body. Nothing can stop me now.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, you wait. I'm going to become, maybe I might even, I won't say that because people will take me serious. I'm going to get so scary looking. The challenge is coming. Sign everyone up. That's all I'll say now. It's just, or nothing will happen at all, Zach. That's the beauty of this. Or nothing will happen at all. 6 months from now, I'll still have this progress of a beard and no difference in weight or muscle at all. And then we'll say, oh, it's just another ref bit. You'll say it either way. All for the bit, baby. All for the bit.
You control your destiny and your bits. I'll try and more control what I'm eating. I'm looking into macronutrition, like the swapping out ingredients to make like more heavy protein items. Sure. Like that's right up my alley. That's the stuff I'm looking for. Like I like certain things. Let me change some stuff.
Right.
Like I'm trying to think here. Like this was a weird one. Cottage cheese pancakes.
Yeah, cottage cheese is awesome.
It's a real thing. I'm like, that's how people make pancakes with stuff. Apparently it tastes great.
Right. Yeah, see, me, I don't like bread. I don't like carbs. So I'm caveman though, Zach. I'm like macro ingredient, no bread, lettuce. And I just slap some tuna and a big old thing of romaine lettuce and I eat it and I'm done. Now I will say, and you know what else you should get into though, Zach? I don't know what, you could probably slap these in anything, but hard-boiled eggs. Oh man, they're amazing.
The smell, I can't do.
I know, that's why they're good.
That gives me no reason to dive in on a hard-boiled egg.
If I could juggle, I would juggle 3 hard-boiled eggs right now and like one by one drop them down my gullet.
I mean, I might do. I'll be honest. I might do. Deviled eggs that'll be bad if you make it wrong. But I can't do hard boiled. I can do scrambled. I've gotten used to scrambled.
Any
but I
eggs.
make it for fried rice.
Yeah.
So take that as you will.
I mean, rice isn't too bad. Well, here's the thing. I always say
Fried
too.
rice though. Fried
Yeah,
rice.
I mean,
I make a chili oil. I put like veggie oil. Throw like chili flakes in. Fry up some garlic.
You know what it is
mix the
better
egg
than?
in there.
It's better than getting fried rice at a restaurant. I guarantee
True.
it's healthier for you. Not that you should eat it all the time or every day. Just eating at home alone will do the trick. And here, you know me. I'm the water gang. To drink, how much water do you drink?
16 water bottles.
You gotta drink a gallon, bro. How much water do you drink?
Maybe less than a gallon.
Oh, yeah.
I can tell you, I drink more than I used to. I got
water.
I'm in the seltzer water class.
See, that's good
I got
too.
One of those
0 calories.
I got one of those Circle water bottles recently. You know those ones that they got like the flavor nozzles you put on the top.
Yeah. See, I can't do all that stuff. I'm.
No, see, but this is right up your alley. If you want flavor,
I hate flavor.
You can put it to where it's nothing. I know you like nothing.
I do like nothing.
That's the thing.
If I could eat food that tasted like nothing and it was just
no,
nutrients,
don't you dare say that.
I'd be signed up.
That's hypocrisy. That is hypocrisy that you would even say that on this show.
The closest I get is this seltzer. I do like
I consider
food.
myself a foodie. That sounded offensive. No,
I just
flavor.
want IVs. If I could just sit here with an IV to pump my meal into me, I want to be a robot, I think.
Just buy Huel. You're a Huel guy.
What the hell is
this
that?
Is right up your alley. Just buy the Huel stuff.
What is it?
It's just basically like liquid food.
Sweet. Hold on. Let me look at this up.
Well, you've never heard of this?
No, because,
Dude, there's got to be someone on here that knows that. You people, drop a comment. You know what Huel is.
I don't trust this
You've
either.
seen
I don't
advertisements.
trust this. This looks like, I hope Fox doesn't own this company. But you know what? Even if they do, this looks like this freaking me out already. No, I want, Sludge. Is there a company called Sludge?
Yeah. This is literally what Huel is.
Well, I was looking at like some meal kit with like rice. Oh, okay, all right, super greens. See, here's the thing: is I can sludge all this stuff together though. I can like. Sometimes what I do, Zach, is I just you can eat weeds. You know they're edible.
I know you can eat some things like dandelions.
No, I'm pretty sure it's all weeds. So I just go in the backyard and I just start yanking stuff from my ground and I throw it in. I have one of those blenders that'll juice.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
You do not do this.
Dude, I throw it in. As long as you throw like an apple and some like grapes or organic strawberries. That's the trick. If they're not organic, then it doesn't work. But then the weeds come out great. Every now and then you got to pick like a couple ant legs out of it. But,
Oh my God.
I'm kidding. I don't eat my weeds just in case.
Thank
Just in
God.
case anybody. There they are coming up on me. Geez. I think that one was poison ivy. Uh-oh.
Oh my God. No.
Well, Zach, I think we've made it to the end of the show.
I'm out.
Any final words before we head off into probably a week off, which I think it's, by the way, I'm talking, I think I need it. This is what happens when you run in the sun, maybe. I might be, uh-oh.
Well, no, I'm kind of like, I think the decompression of me getting into the off-season mode and us doing this episode right now, I'm vibing, but like, this is off-season Zach. It will not be always crisp like this, like it has been. So, yeah, welcome to the off-season, people. This is where the episodes get weird if you're a newcomer. They get way different than in season.
And I mean, user beware. There is a link down to the Discord below, and
user very beware, please.
It's gotten weird. That's all I'll say. But if you like weird, link down below. Get signed up. It's totally a football chat and only about football, only ever. I think that's it. Oh, you know what? Actually, Mel's put out her first article this week. Everybody give her a little bit of a round of applause.
Yeah, she did.
If you haven't checked it out, go check it out. Go join the Simp Army, Simp Nation. You'll have to battle the Commander Mike. But we do have, there you go. New content. It might be off season. We might be off topic. But Newsroom's still bringing the heat. Newsroom's still dropping the articles. So if you want all the transactions, all the latest signings, guys going to the USFL, and any other little nugget of news in between, make sure you're checking out USFLnewsroom.com daily for all the latest news. Social media, what the hell are you doing at USFL Podcast? Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok. Get signed up. You'll see everything always as it's going down. And since, hey, if you're watching that video thing, here's what you do. Look down below. Click the subscribe button. Click the bell. It builds morale. It's the off season. Who doesn't need a little bit of morale in their life? I know I don't, because we're all in at least 48-0. Gamblers, 4 years undefeated. Get signed up. But if you're not a Gamblers fan, go scoop up that morale. Maybe we'll let you lose only by a couple when we take you on in the next season coming up. Breaking tees, save yourself 10 old big percent off using coupon code at USFL Newsroom. We got playoff shirts, we got player shirts, we got mascot shirts. They got USFL merch galore. So go save yourself 10% off by using coupon code USFL Newsroom. So until next time, guys, man, what a gauntlet. What a fun week. We'll be back probably to taking a week off, but the 28th, get signed up.